Okay, for today, we are going to be rebuilding this Eveready number 717, 7.5 volt battery. And this radio behind us, which is playing, actually uses this type of battery. Well, it does now. I modified it too. But anyway, I'm going to show you something interesting. So let me just put you to the side for a second. Here are two iterations of the same battery. This one is hooked up. I rebuilt this using AA cells, 5 of them. If you notice what it says there, 5 size C cells, and that's what was in there. This one is going to have large Minimax cells in it, this dead one, and I'll show you what's in there. Okay, so now we've opened that, and as you can see, there are 5 cells in here. These are each 1.5 volts, and they mimic what everybody calls a Minimax cell, but they're larger in size. So that's what's inside there. So let me show you what we're going to put inside there. We are going to install 5 of these. As you see, they actually do fit in there. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so we now have it stuffed inside the pack. So we're going to start doing some connecting here. When you want to solder to something smooth and shiny like that, you need to rough it up. For that, I'm using a 80 grit sanding wheel. I start with a little bead of solder on each battery. First 2 connections are now made. Alright, we're on the other side now, and we have scuffed up these batteries. Okay, I'm filming with my phone. I don't have an assistant, so I couldn't have you watching me make these solder connections, but I soldered each battery together, one to the other, to the other, to the other, making a loop. And as you can see, on my 7.5 volt scale, I'm at the end of the scale, meaning good. We are going to solder on the connector that we had salvaged. Okay, we are wired up. We have our connector installed, and it's time to do some gluing. Okay, our battery's built. We've glued the box back together with tacky glue. You can see we're reading off the scale. And now we're going to actually install this battery in the radio, and we're going to let it do its thing. Okay, so I removed the old one, which was in there, which was made with AA batteries. And it's been playing for a couple of days. I've been listening to this radio for at least 2 hours. Let's see what kind of charge is left on that. But we're going to install the one we just built. It's plugged in. Let's see what we got.
What's a finisher?
Oh, it's a winner.
What's a finisher?
It's actually working. Well, I'm not surprised. I expected it to.
In Cancun, Mexico. It is a small but vocal group of companies.
Those rubber bands can come off once it dries. So the one that's been playing for a couple of days, it's a little weaker. The other one was right off the scale. It's a little weaker, but still quite alive. So there you go. There you have it. That's how to build a vintage 7.5 volt pack. You could do it multiple different ways. Inside there, I took the easy way out. I have a battery holder that holds 6 AA's. I put 5 AA's in it. And I shorted the missing hole. I shorted that one out. I jumped it out so that it would be 5 cells, 5 at 1.5. That's how we get to 7.5. And that's how I built this one. So that was quick and easy. It took a lot less time. It was less tedious. But the one that I just built would have a much higher capacity. So this radio now has a high capacity, 90 volt. Pack in there, and it has this pack in here, and it should play for quite a long time, especially if used intermittently, 2 hours a day like that, because like Eveready advertises on some of their batteries right here, bounces back for extra life, recovers power between uses. Well, that's true of all batteries. It's a marketing gimmick for Eveready, but all batteries are like that. If they're not completely exhausted, if they're used for a short period of time, they bounce back to almost their original capacity for quite some time. So there you have it. We have a working surviving radio.
Comes from the Federal Reserve. It looks at regions around the country.
And the reason why I keep using this radio and playing this radio is it was low in volume, But as I've been using it, I guess the capacitors are reforming and the volume's coming up. So that's why. It has adequate volume now. It's not exactly loud, but it doesn't need to be. It's loud enough to fill the room with sound.
For the first quarter of 2025. And, and I think to myself, like, well, you have the Federal Reserve reporting that economic activity is risen.
It's actually louder than it needs to be for me to listen to it.
Then you've got
So it's a survivor.
And
And I could probably clean off some of this corrosion. But I happen to like the patina on these old radios. I don't want them to look brand new. I like the way they look. And there you have it. Another tutorial, how to build an Eveready 717.